Hey, good evening there, folks. It's George Bunny, One Nation. I'm just here. What I want to do is I just want to give a little clarity to people as far as what's happening with all these deportations. Trump and his administration, even though they are white supremacists, well, because they're white supremacists, this is why they're doing the deportations. It's not strictly racism, although racism has a lot to do with it. See, the problem is, by 2045, the U.S. is projected by the Census and the Brookings Institute to become a minority white country. Just let that sink in. America is projected to become a minority white country by 2045 to 2050, up in that area. Right around 2044, 2045, it'll be very noticeable, but by 2050, it'll be a done deal. So now this is why we're having deportations. Now, this is also why they want to get rid of abortion. They need to make more white babies because white people in this country have the lowest birth rate and they have the highest aging rate in the country. In other words, there are a lot of white people too that are over the age of birth, many more than they are the young ones. This is why they made up that stupid excuse to bring these Afrikaners from South Africa here. See, this regime we have in place today are a bunch of really silly ass people. And I say that because it's one dumb decision after another. First of all, they started this fight with the world by trying to extort all the other countries around the world. Like over 130 countries. They want to tell them you have to pay to play in America. That's stupid. They're not going to do that. That's extortion. That's like saying, okay, if you want to sell your silverware on this corner, you got to pay the mob. That's basically what it comes down to. That's the first dumb decision. The second dumb decision is the mass deportations. Because no matter how hard they try, they'd be lucky if they can deport 2 million people, 1 million people. It takes years to do that. And they don't have that kind of time. And it won't happen because of the first dumb decision, extorting the world, which cut down our finance. So they really don't even have the money to finance deportations. They just don't have the money. Now, this is where it gets even trickier. On top of all that, we're on a precipice of World War III. If not going to full-blown war, we're on the precipice of battling Iran. Our dumbass regime is a regime full of sociopaths and psychopaths because they're willing to exterminate people for their agenda. Just think about that. They're willing to exterminate people for a certain agenda. And see, you wonder why a lot of these farmers and a lot of these people in the Midwest and South, why they still went for Trump, even though they knew they may lose their farms. Well, they expected to get a government subsidy. That's one thing. But the other thing, they're scared of a minority white country. That's all they see. You know, but There's nothing you can do to stop that. White people only make up 23% of the world's population. Period. 23%. The other 77% are people of color. Africa is projected by 2050 to have 2 billion people. China's already over 1.3 billion. India, the same. Africa's already at 1 billion. So you can't stop America from becoming a minority white country by 2050 unless you do a bunch of stupid, desperate, dumb, super dumb things. And this is the problem that we have. This is the problem that we have in America, but in Europe, this whole thing. You see, because white folks have been running this world for years. I mean, going into like centuries. And what they're really scared of, if they become a minority population, that they'll be treated the way they've been treating the rest of us. That's complete fear of that fact. That they will be treated the way they treat other people. And the reason their fear is so deep, because deep down in their hearts and their soul and their minds, they know they've been misusing people of color around the world for centuries. And they're scared of what people would do because they know what they did to those people. Retribution will scare the shit out of you. Especially when you know that especially when you know that there may come a time when you can't beat the people you've been beaten down for centuries. And they feel that their only hope is to stop America from becoming minority white so that they can maintain their hegemon status. Because the minute this country becomes equal population, the minute that black people, Hispanic people, and Asian people have more control and power in this country, things will change. And what we've come to see, like right now, we see just in this moment that white people are incapable of running the world anymore. Their idea of maintaining their presence as it stands, as a status quo, is crumbling. And it's gonna crumble no matter what they do. This is why, we don't know, we don't get the real news in America. America has been forcing regime changes around the world since World War II. They've taken out more world leaders than ever in the history of the world. With their regime changes, with their theft of other countries' possessions. And that's another thing they're scared of, that people are going to come back to take their shit back. So it's not about they just don't like Hispanics. It's not about they just don't like blacks. They're scared of us becoming the majority rule in the country. And in my opinion, it would be better. Because this country doesn't understand that you need to work with the rest of the world in order to be successful in this day and age. They're trying to maintain what they've been doing all this time because that has worked for them. But that's over with. But they can't face that. And as a result, we are a declining nation. Not a collapsing nation, but declining. Because we don't know how to work with other people that are non-white in this world, other than by bullying them, terrorizing them, forcing changes of their government, getting rid of their leaders, getting rid of the leaders of other countries that are trying to obtain their sovereignty. Because if countries have their sovereignty, that means they have to spend more money to interact with them. They don't want to do that. But all these things they're doing is just burying them, because it's compounding the problem that they are to everybody else. That's why you see China standing up to them. You see Iran standing up to them. You see Africa standing up to them. And consequently, with Iran standing up, that's going to cause more Middle East countries to stand up, like Saudi Arabia, like the UAE, like Turkey, Iraq, which is already in complete turmoil ever since they got rid of Saddam Hussein. Same with Libya. Ever since they got rid of Muammar Gaddafi, they just destroyed those countries in their economy, but they're still extracting minerals from them places. More so from Libya than anywhere else. But they need the unrest to do that. That's why they create unrest in Africa. They create unrest in the Middle East. And they're trying to create unrest in the Asiatic countries. But those countries have already come together. China, Russia, Brazil, India, and South Africa, that BRICS coalition, they're bringing the rest of the world together to fight against the oppression that they've been experiencing for the past 70, 80 years. Now, they tell us how evil these leaders are, and the leaders are in these countries. They tell us about all the criminal activity that they engage in. But come on, America, people in America, we know here how they engage in more criminal activity than anywhere else. In America, black people are considered to be the scourge of the nation. You can look through any Wikipedia, Brookings, anywhere where they speak about crime, poverty. The number one people that white Americans go to is black Americans, because they know that the rest of the world will believe that, because they've been spinning anti-black rhetoric for almost 1,000 years, ever since they took the first bar gold out of Africa. They spin that rhetoric because they know that they're stealing out of Africa. They know that that's where their riches come. The gold, the minerals, I'm talking the cobalt, the lithium, the uranium, all that has been powering Europe and America at little to no cost. By them losing the power to do that means costs go up. But what's making that happen even faster is because they are attacking people openly now. It's not like it's done in silence. It's open because of the desperation. They're taking all these desperate measures. I mean, look what Benjamin Netanyahu. He's just been over in the Middle East just doing whatever he wants. But it's not what he wants. He's doing what America wants. You have to understand that America and Israel are tied together like butt cheeks. They're like butt cheeks. I don't know which one is the vessel state, who's actually running what, because the majority of the Jewish people in this world so far own the largest corporations around the world. So what we basically what we have is these large Jewish-owned corporations that are home based in America and Israel are going up against the global South, against China, against the Asiatic countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, Japan, against the African nations, against the Latin nations. That's what we're dealing with now. And the biggest fear they have, that if they allow America to become a minority white country, that the chicken's gonna come home to roost. That it will be time for them to pay up. You know, you gotta remember, for every action, there are equal and opposite reactions. So their actions over the last few hundred years, but really, since World War II, has led us to where we are now. You know, this war in Iran is not about nuclear weapons. It's about stopping the BRICS nations from completing their Belt and Road Initiative, which connects all the countries in the global South by land. That builds their coalition. And they're fighting hard to stop that. They cannot have an advanced coalition go against them. Fear is what's driving them, more so than racism, more so than hegemony, more so than anything that they're telling us. Their thing is fear. It's always been fear. It's because people have this inferiority complex. The white folks, and I'm sorry, you guys have this inferiority complex that you're going to be attacked, misused, and abused by the people that you've been abusing for centuries. Now, I don't know that they're not going to do that. I really don't. I don't know what people are going to do once the power ratio is changed. I really don't. I mean, there may be people that want retribution, but I honestly believe that the spirit of the world is saying it wants something different now in this world, because there's a better way for us to grow together in the world. Nobody's going anywhere. I mean, nobody's going anywhere. China's going to be where it is. Japan's going to be where it is. Africa's going to be where it is. Same with India. They're going to be where they are. And realistically, America's only about 500 years old. You have China, India, and Africa that have nations that are over 5,000 to better years old. Actually, better, more so. Older than history books actually tell us. I mean, at one time, China and India were the main economic powers of the world before they were colonized. You know, so all we have to do is keep pushing for righteousness, keep pushing for equality, keep pushing for inclusion with everybody else in the world. And that gives the white people of this world to decide what they want. Do they want diversity, equity, and inclusion? Or do they want isolation? And like when I say the white people in America, there are at least almost half the people, the white folks in America, They want DEI. The world is on DEI. The mission statements of the BRICS coalition is DEI. So how they're going to beat everybody else when you're only 23% of the world, you're 23% of the population of the world? You know, we need to get off of that. It's like America's always been where they try to contain nations. They want to contain the growth of China, contain the growth of Russia, contain the growth of Africa. Now, I don't know about everybody else listening here. I always believed that we were a great nation because we had ingenuity, we had drive, we had faith, and we had strength. Well, but I mean, obviously that's not the case if we're always doing containment. All this energy and all these resources and all this dirt and trash that we do for containment. Just imagine if we had took that and used that for development, ingenuity, equality, focus on growth, focus on being better human beings. Imagine where we would be. So I don't know if this has to be the ultimate result, that this whole white thing has to crash in order for that to go away, in order for people to live like human beings. I don't know if that's what has to happen, but it's starting to seem that way, that the only answer to the problems we have is the collapse of the white race. And see, the white race is not all the palm-colored people. The white race is a made-up name for capitalists. And they're the people that believe in the capitalist follies. That's the only thing, that's the white race. The white race is not the English, it's not the Dutch, it's not the Italians, it's not the British, it's not the French. The white race are the capitalists, the people with the money that have always used the white race, the other people that have always used the Dutch, that have always used the Irish, have always used the French, have always used the Italian, taken away their culture to make up the white culture. Just like in America, we have black people in America that call themselves FBAs. What's your heritage? What's your culture? What's your nation? We don't know that. And unfortunately, being white in America, you don't know what your culture, your race, your ethnicity, that gets put in the back burner. And that ends who you are. So I'm just not begging for my black people to embrace their African culture. I'm looking for the white folks. Embrace the culture of your land, of your heritage. Be proud to be English. Be proud to be French. Be proud to be Italian. But don't be proud to be white. White has a bad name in the world. Be proud to be who you are. Take back your culture. Black people, take back your culture. Take back your ethnicity. Same with white people in America. Take back your culture. Take your ethnicity. Let your culture be the driving force of who you are as a person and how you develop as a person and how you develop here in America. Thank you, guys. Let's just do better.